Ticket.
Don't forget, Super Bowl 57 airs here on KTIK Sports Radio, The Ticket. Our coverage begins at noon, kickoff right around 4:30, and listen to the entire game. Maybe you're leaving your Super Bowl party a little early. It's a little late there. You can tune in to us on KTIK Sports Radio, The Ticket. I don't believe any other station in this valley.
No, we're exclusive, Johnny. Exclusive.
We'll be airing Super Bowl 57, so some good stuff there, Prater. JP, what did you want me to mention here? Oh, yeah, we were talking over the break about teas or something.
Well, we've got a tease coming up. Maybe in the next sports update, we'll tell you about an Idaho native that's going to be in a Super Bowl commercial, a national Super Bowl.
I love
commercial.
it, man. Okay, Idaho native in a national Super Bowl commercial. Prater, we got a lot of Super Bowl commercial stuff to talk about the week, all this stuff, but we wanted to jump on over to hoops real quick and talk about Marcus Shaver Jr. And I'm with you. I think even if Shaver was 100%, they weren't going to win that game versus San Diego State on Friday night. But it obviously would have helped. And moving forward, I don't know if you can get to where you want to go. And what you've said, they win the first NCAA tournament game in the history of this program. I'm not sure you can do. I don't think you can do it without Shaver. But I'm not sure you can do it with Shaver if he's not close to 100. What are your thoughts on Marcus Shaver Jr. right now?
Well, yeah, obviously they would love to have him, and they need to have him, and he could be the difference maker. He is the difference maker on this basketball team, if you ask me, when he's out there being healthy. But it's kind of the same old dog and pony show in terms of last year. We talked about this exactly at this time last year, and it was an issue in March, and it was an issue in February, and it was an issue in the tournament. He also had that little bit of a shooting slump last year as well. So Marcus Shaver has just always been so inconsistent that's tough. When he's good, man, when he's got it going on, holy cow, he's good. But I think it's more of it's not so for me, and we'll dive into the Marcus Shaver thing, but for me, it's not about Marcus Shaver. I think you could say the same about everybody on this basketball team who's contributing. There's only 5 or 6 contributing, and if they miss one, if they lose Max Rice, they're in trouble. If they lose Tyson Degenhart, they're in trouble. They're losing Marcus Shaver on a regular basis, and they show that could be in trouble. Although, again, I'm not going to blame that San Diego State loss on Marcus Shaver. Boise State's lost 6 games so far this year. He's appeared in 4 of the 6 losses. The San Diego State one, and I think the other one was the Santa Clara game early on in the season where things didn't go so well for them as well. I think they lost that one by 15 points. So when he loses, maybe a close loss becomes a bad loss. When he's not in the lineup, maybe a close loss or a close win becomes a close loss. So Marcus Shaver, Boise State needs him, but they need all 5 or 6 or 7 of these people over the next 5 weeks, if you ask me.
I think they do too. Now, this might sound crazy, but I mean, if you're Leon Rice, do you tell Shaver to take it back a couple notches? Don't play as hard, ease up. Maybe make a business decision if the ball is rolling around on the floor and say, hey, we would rather have your value not putting your body into harm's way versus, us just being able to have you the rest of the season. How do you think Leon Rice and this staff, I wonder how they manage this, because I think they full well know this team's limitations when Marcus Shaver is out of the lineup. We love Jace Whiting. We had him on the show. We think he's going to be a terrific player, but I don't think that's coming this season. I don't think you can rely on Jace Whiting to be your point guard moving forward in a starting role or a 30-minute role type of guy. You need Shaver. If Shaver's going to be limping around the rest of the year, Prater, I'll just say this. I don't think this team goes to the tournament. I think this team, the way Marcus Shaver plays and how important he is to this program, I don't think you can even get to the dance unless you get him close to 100%. Is that crazy?
I think that's a little crazy, but Boise State's margin for error is that close. I'll definitely give you that. There's no doubt about that. I think this team is going to the tournament. I think they have enough quality signs to get to the tournament. Can they make any kind of difference in the tournament? And very well could be if they don't make it to the tournament, it would be because of Marcus Shaver. Not only do they need Marcus Shaver back, they need Marcus Shaver back and being productive and healthy. And I think it all starts with Leon Rice. Leon Rice needs to manage his minutes more. There was a couple of games there in late January, the Fresno State game and the New Mexico game. He played 39 minutes and 39 minutes. One of them was an overtime game. those are the most minutes he's played this entire season. And we're late in the season, and he's got a fragile body, and he was feeling better. He was feeling pretty good. And here comes Leon Rice asking him to play 39 minutes and 39 minutes. And then the last two games, the minutes have not been good. The production has not been good. And as I'm sitting here looking at it, Marcus Shaver hasn't shot over 50% this entire season in a game. I mean, his shooting percentage in his last 7 games, 33%, 22%, 38%, 33%, 50%, and 38%. He's not only struggling to stay on the court, when he gets on the court and he's healthy, he's not shooting the ball very well. And I think it's all connected. And they need Marcus Shaver to be a good shooter. Not the best. He's the point guard. He's got other jobs. He's got other responsibilities. He's averaging more rebounds than anybody else on this team. That's not a good sign either. So, taking care of business, Leon Rice needs to manage his minute, and I hate the word load management, but in this particular case, I think load management might be the 2 most important words for the rest of Marcus Shaver's college career.
I thought it was crazy. I did. Where Boise State was kicking the crap out of Colorado State, like you mentioned. They won by over 20, and Marcus Shaver, I think, played 33, 32, whatever minutes. They're up by 20 with 4 or 5 minutes left.
I think it was even 3 or 4 minutes left. They were some of the
and
starters.
Marcus Shaver Jr. was still in the game
and driving hard and playing hard because that's the only way he knows.
That's the only way he knows. Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm saying, hey, Shaves, we don't want you to play as hard. That's not going to go off. That's not going to work. Marcus Shaver knows one speed. Just his value with this team, 208-424-9300. If you want to get in on this conversation, bug JP and he'll throw you on here with us. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting deal. I have a feeling that it's in play that this thing might not end all that well, that we'll look back on this season and think, what if? They just haven't had the depth, sadly, Prater, and now they're dealing with injuries as well, Prater. And I don't know, it's a good league this year. There's other good teams, and they still have some good games ahead of them. Even I don't care where they are. I don't care where the game is played. You could play this game in Leon Rice's backyard for all I care against New Mexico or a tough opponent. And if you don't have big shot Shaver in that, it's not going to work. They're going to come in there and they're going to win. So Marcus Shaver Jr. needs to get back. I don't know how. Hopefully this week will help. But I don't know. It wasn't a high ankle sprain. Marcus Shaver has so many injuries, though. I think there's 3 or 4 that he's dealing with that we don't even know about.
Yeah.
And it's this, and it was last year too. He missed the conference tournament. Remember, he didn't travel with the team.
Correct.
And if you remember, he never really got it going after that. Remember that? He had a rough outing in the tournament, loss to Memphis in Portland, and he didn't play all that great in the conference tournament either because he was banged up, and he's banged up again. And if I'm a diehard Boise State fan, I'm worried about where this thing is going. We saw without him against the best team in the league, I guess, and they were not even competitive.
No.
Does Shaver makes them competitive, right?
Oh, well, in that game,
maybe not in that game,
maybe
but
not
most.
In that game. I think that, in most games, if not all games, absolutely. He's a difference maker, and he would have been a difference maker in that game if he would have been healthy, but he's not even close to being healthy. So, and I just go back to, the preseason and as this season was starting and looking at this basketball roster and just, I know Leon I know he lost a couple of key players. I get that, but everybody does. And when you had the success that they had last year, a regular season championship, a tournament championship, getting to the NCAA tournament, by all accounts, one of the most, if not the most successful season in Boise State basketball history. And I don't think they took advantage of it in the offseason. We're still sitting here talking about depth. 66% of the new players that he brought in to help this roster have been irrelevant and not a big part of this. Even Abo has been somewhat inconsistent, although I really like his game, and I think he's going to be fantastic for Boise State. But, Nganga and Silla are just, I don't know.
Look,
Boise State didn't take advantage of last year, and they still find themselves in the same depth situation, the same roster situation, the same issues as last year. And that disappoints me.
You could make the case, and I'm not including Armouche, but you could make the case that Boise State has not recruited a serviceable big since Ryan Watkins. Okay. David Wacker, Zach Haney.
No.
Right? I mean, Armouche was wonderful. He was a transfer. He was a transfer portal guy. You can make that case that they haven't recruited a big in a long time, and hell yeah, they miss Armouche. Lucas Milner, that was the hope, I think, that Milner could have at least been a serviceable Mountain West big. Give you 27 minutes a night, score 7 points, grab 7 rebounds. They can't play him right now. So,
that's a Boise State mistake. That's a Leon Rice mistake. If you thought you could get more out of Lucas Milner.
Okay, well, what about Mo Silla, the transfer from Detroit Mercy? He barely can get off the bench, man. Yeah. And he is as big and physically imposing, at least coming off the bus, as you have in this league. They can't play him most nights, Prater.
No.
He can't crack the floor. And, Sada, I'm going to have more leeway with because he was coming straight out of high school, but greatest recruit they've ever signed. You heard highest rating they've ever brought in. Oh, this guy, Prater. Oh, Prater. He was going to get offered by Kentucky.
Yes.
Prater. Kentucky wanted him. Oh, wow. I'm telling you this. If Kentucky wants a kid and Boise State gets him, he should be ready to play year one.
Yeah.
I go, it's nothing to do with the kid. But to say that, hey, Kentucky was all over him, maybe they were before the injury, but if they are, well, then that was some stinking severe injury because Sada, and maybe I'm wrong on this, and I hope I am, because you know how basketball works. Coaches will always say, by the end of your freshman year, we want you to start playing like a sophomore, right? By the end of your junior year, we want you to start playing like a senior. And maybe Sada and Ganga can be a missing piece moving forward because right now, Sada has not played in about a month. And that was very limited action that he saw a month ago. That was when I believe they were beating the crap out of Wyoming. So, yeah, this basketball team, they had no margin for error going into this thing. And if that margin doesn't affect them, good. They could be the best team in the league. But we're seeing that those margins, Prater, on that piece of paper, they're getting wider and wider, my friend, and it gives you less room to write that Mike Prater report that you're going to love so
report?
much.
Do I have to write a report?
I don't know. I'm just trying to be like if I worked for you and you were like a sports editor and I wrote this big piece on somebody and I don't know where I'm going with that, but
I don't know where you're going on that.
It'd probably be a bad day for me going into your office. There'd probably be a lot of red ink on that sucker, Prater. But what are your thoughts on Boise State basketball? A lot of those people texting in. We'll read some of that on Feedback Finale. We have a ton of stuff we want to get to. Still going to give you an opportunity to be the very first qualifier we have for our Diamond Dig. Still reminding you, go to KTIK.com and fill out the information for our big game Super Bowl party pack. And Hillcrest Floral, a bouquet of flowers available for rock jocks and pop culture coming up. So a lot of good things we have on Prater in the ball game. And as JP said, an Idaho native, you will all see, the whole world will see, starring in a commercial for the Super Bowl. All coming up on Prater in the ball game.